Hey guys, welcome back to today's stock deep dive on Pfizer. And right now is the Chinese New Year period, right? We just passed Chinese New Year, and I just want to say a good and happy Chinese New Year to all of you out there. Hope you guys enjoyed the Chinese New Year so far. And today I'm going to dive deep on Pfizer, right? It's a global pharmaceutical company, right? Or even a global leader. So let's get on with it. But before that, right, before I dive deep into what's going on with Pfizer, let me share important information and disclosure, right? Everything that I share in this content, right, in this video, is all for educational purposes, right? This content is created for information and educational purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. In this entire video is not a recommendation. Any analysis, charts, or company mentions are for learning and discussion purposes and do not represent a buy, sell, or hold recommendation or any specific trading or investing instructions, right? I have no license. I am not a MAS licensed financial advisor. You should conduct your own research and consult a licensed professional before making any investment or trading decisions, right? Okay, don't take my word for it, right? Okay. And also, very importantly, market risk, investing and trading involve risk. Market can be very volatile, and especially in sectors affected by news, earnings, regulations, or clinical developments, losses can occur, right? Okay, and there's no guarantee in this content or video, right? Meaning like past performance, historical data, technical patterns, or even dividend history do not guarantee future results, right? Even if I mention them later on, right? Data accuracy information is based on publicly available sources as of 24th of February 2026. Accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed, right? So make sure you do your own due diligence. Everything that I say, take it with a pinch of salt. You want to be able to investigate, research yourself, find out the facts yourself, double check and triple check before you actually make your investing and trading decisions, right? Okay, I'm just sharing my take on what a deep dive on Pfizer, right? Okay, so let's jump right in. Pfizer is a global biopharmaceutical leader, right? Okay, its key business pillars, right? Primary vaccines, right? Okay, like COVID-19 treatment, right? And specialty care, immunity, information, rare diseases, oncology, right? A massive focus area, right? Foreign Seagen acquisition, right? Okay. Seagen is actually a biotech company that makes advanced cancer drugs, right? Okay, and Pfizer acquired them, right? So basically, Pfizer has footprints in a lot of countries, right? It operates in more than 150 countries with a mission to deliver so-called breakthrough that change patients' lives, right? Okay, so in Singapore, there is a lot of medicines that is under their name as well, right? Okay. Let's take a look at this is just the overall business models, right? That Pfizer is going through, having, right? Let's jump right into the recent financial performance, some fundamentals background on Pfizer first. The numbers, right? Okay, 2025 revenue approximately $62.6 billion, right? Okay, 2026 guidance range around 59.5 to 62.5 billion dollars, right? Okay, so there's a balanced view on Pfizer, right? Okay, basically, the positive side on Pfizer is that it has strong sales growth from medicines not related to COVID, right? Okay, ongoing sales is still going strong. The risk side on Pfizer is that there's lower demand for COVID products because now COVID is not an issue now, right? Okay, and some older drugs are losing patent protection, right? And this may reduce sales by about $1.5 billion, right? Okay, so even though they have strong sales growth from medicines, right, not related to COVID, overall there's lower demand for COVID products, and some other older drugs are losing their sales also, right? Okay, so generally that's the fundamentally based on the financials. The road ahead for Pfizer, right? Okay, it does a lot in it invests heavily in R&D, right? Okay, research and development. So it plans to start about 20 major drug studies in 2026, right? Okay, key growth drivers, right? Oncology expansion, leveraging on Seagen portfolio for cancer treatment, right? And also weight loss market development for oral obesity assets, right? Okay, and capital allocation, right? Continue paying dividends to shareholders while still investing in research and development, right? Okay. There are key reasons. These are some of the positive sides on Pfizer, but there are key risks to consider about Pfizer as well fundamentally, right? Even though it's launching quite a number of drug tests, right? Okay, many drug tests fail before approval, right? That you should know, right? Okay, and not just because they are going to launch a lot doesn't mean that they will go through approval, right? Okay, and those that don't go through approval actually is a loss to them, right? Okay, because of manpower, resources are being allocated for all this. And also government rules on medicine prices could affect their profits as well, right? And also cheaper competitors' drugs may reduce sales of their older drugs, which I mentioned earlier. So final thoughts on the fundamental side is that Pfizer is a long-established company adjusting after the pandemic, and it always balance its dividend income potential with the risk from competition and expiring drug patents, right? Okay, going forward, right? There's some catalysts for fundamentally for Pfizer as well, right? Dividend support, that's number one, right? Okay, it pays about 6.4-ish% kind of dividend yield, right? Okay, and a lot of times considering it's 6% is not low, right? Okay, a lot of stocks actually pay 2%, 3%, or even 4%, or even lower than that, right? Okay, so for this stock, the dividend yield is quite good, right? Okay, and earnings outlook, expected earnings per share, right? Okay, for 2026 is about $3, right? As we can see over here. This is slightly lower than 2025. Actually, is 3.22, and even 2024, which is 3.11, right? Okay, and of course, growth focus. The company expanding its cancer drug business after buying Seagen, right? This is a main growth driver. Investors and traders are actually watching at it, right? Okay, and the valuation, right, trades at a relative low PE ratio. So what is PE ratio? PE ratio is price to earnings, right? Okay, versus past average. Past average was roughly 12 times, right? Okay, the PE ratio right now is forward PE ratio current one is roughly 9.2 times, right? Okay, slightly lower by around 3. And price to earnings ratio, actually the lower makes it more worthwhile for investors to actually get in on the stock, right? Okay, so because they pay less for the earnings, right? Okay, so the lower the number for a PE ratio is actually more valuable, more worth it for investors to actually get in, right? Okay, so right now is lower than previous average, right? Okay, but having said that, this is much lower also due to the growth remaining weak because of COVID, right? Okay, COVID related sales are falling and continuing falling as we speak, right? Okay, so these are all the fundamental reasons, right? Good dividends, but even though that, even though there's good dividends, the earnings per share is dropping, right? And also their focus is looking at cancer, expanding their cancer drug business. P ratio is low, which is a good thing, but that is also because of growth from COVID sales is falling, right? Okay, which means that this P ratio might not might even go lower, right? Okay, might even go lower. So that is a possibility also. How about the technical side, right? Okay, technical side, basically current situation, I'm going to go into the charts, technical charts, and share with you. Right now the stock price is moving slightly higher, right? Establishing higher highs and higher lows, right? Since 1st of August, right? Okay, support level, major support, all-time low at 2092, established on the 9th of April, which I'll show you later on the technical charts. This price have never been seen since late 2012. So it has been more than 10 over years that we have not seen Pfizer reach a price point something that is around $21, right? Okay, except for last year, April, right? Okay, and since then it has rebounded, right? Since then it has rebounded. And support, the secondary support, right, is at 23.11, established last year 1st of August, right? Okay, and price levels has been higher since then, right? Okay, and resistance level, right? Okay, resistance, in technical trading there's support and resistance level. Support level means the where is the support level that it can go higher, right? Resistance level is the resistance level where price might not even might hit a ceiling and come down, right? Okay, so over here resistance level is established at 31.54, established 30th of July, right? Okay, and the recent high is also considered a resistance level, established 11th of Feb, right? Okay, 11th of Feb 2026, right? Okay, 2026, right? It's not 2025, it's 2026. Okay, some typo here and there is at least I spot it, right? Okay, so basically before I go into the chart, let me just share with you one more slide here, right? Trading scenario and risk management, right? Bull case is that price levels are trading above resistance level, right? Okay, if price do trade above the resistance level, which I mentioned earlier just now, it may signal a bullish breakout for much higher prices, right? And if price stay above the support levels, right, which I mentioned just now, it may show that the stock is well supported, right? Okay, so typically in technical trading, a lot of us will want to look at support levels to buy and resistance level to sell, right? Okay, and also put our stop loss slightly higher or lower based on the support levels and resistance level, right? Okay, and over here the bad cases is that price might trade below the support level, which invalidates the support and may signal a bearish breakout for lower prices, right? Which I will show you the support and resistance level later. And prices staying below the resistance level may show that the stock has resistance to go higher as well, right? Okay, and in technical trading or investing, right? Okay, we always try to use fixed risk management, right? Okay, use a fixed risk based on percentage, right? Okay, based on your capital, right? So example, 1% risk per trade, 1% risk per investment. This means that you will only use 1% of your capital to actually lose to the market, right? Okay, so you never know when you will lose, but you want to make sure, like, based on your entry price and your stop loss price, if you get out at your stop loss price, you actually only lose 1% of your capital, right? Okay, and need to watch very closely to XLV, which is an ETF, is a healthcare ETF. Pfizer a lot of times do move in tandem with SLV, right? Okay, the healthcare ETF, right? So might want to take a look at that as well. But over here, let me just quickly go into the chart, right? Okay, and share with you technically what I meant by the support levels, right, and the resistance levels, right? Okay, so a recent low over here, right? Okay, over here was mentioned in my slide, right? Okay, this could be counted as a quite a major support, right? Another secondary support is here, right? Okay, which is on the 1st of August, which I mentioned earlier, right? And why technically we can see that this is a low, this is there's many other lows, but these are the more significant ones, right? Okay, we can see that it is reaching higher high as well, right? Okay, all these highs is reaching higher high, right? Sometimes slightly lower, but generally we can see the lows here, right? All these lows, right? We can see a low here, higher low, then higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. When this any stock, right? Any stock, not just Pfizer, any stock that keep on showing higher lows, right? Higher lows, higher support level, right? As the stock move, right? Okay, it means that it might be bullish, right? It means that it might be bullish. It makes sense to use all these support levels, right? Okay, all these minor or major support levels to use it as a trading plan to actually trade, right? Okay, buy somewhere near these support levels to actually trade higher, right? Okay, but of course you need to have a trading plan and make sure like if it breaks this support level, you cut loss, and you never know, right? Because you can never be 100% sure how the stock will move as well, right? Okay, but judging from technically, right? Okay, with it establishing more and more higher lows, and also recently break a new high that has been established for at least 1 year, right? Okay, we can see that for 1 over years it has not reached this level for 1 over years, right? Okay, so likelihood, right, almost 1 year lah, right? Almost 1 year or slightly more than 1 year. But my point here is for the past 1 year, it has never reached this high level, but yet recently it did reach, right? Having a correction now, which is very normal, right? Okay, but my point here is a very bullish sign, right? A very bullish sign or signal means that higher low, higher high, which is established like what we see here, like over here when it started, right? This is the higher high, higher high, higher high, right? Okay, higher low, higher low, higher low, right? So basically this is a bullish sign, right? Okay, so short term what it is also going much slightly high, sideways higher, I would say, right? It is going sideways higher, but apart from that, right, we can see that there is a turn of uptrend, right? Okay, over here there's a turn of uptrend, is still staying in uptrend based on the moving averages, which is also another bullish sign, right? Okay, and likelihood that it might stay that way is there also, right? But of course it can also turn downtrend, right? Okay, but for now it seems like it is having a correction, right? Okay, a slight correction for the past few days. But having said that, if we don't look at just the daily time frame, right? Okay, based on the weekly time frame, so basically we want to see whether price in the future break this high to establish another bullish sign for it to go much higher, right? Okay, so remains to be seen. Maybe after a correction, then it might just try to go much higher, and we need to take note of all these lows. Is it continuing to establish much higher lows as well, right? Okay, so if it's going to continue establishing much higher lows, then yes, maybe it might be more bullish than we think, right? Okay, if not, then it's another story, right? Okay, but having said that, if we look at the weekly time frame, okay, where if it is bullish and it is gradually going higher, right, like what we have seen for the past few months, right? Okay, and breaking a new high as well, right? then where is the next resistance level, right? Okay, I would say it's somewhere here. We can see this is a high, and somewhere here as well, this is another high, right? Okay, so this level is mentioned in my slide earlier just now. So basically I would say around 30ish to $31 ish. That is the range where the stock might hit a resistance level, right? If it continues to be bullish, right, these are the levels that it might hit a resistance level, right? Okay, and typically these are the levels that traders would like to use support and resistance to put their take profit or stop loss as well, right? Okay, so in this case, if you were to trade up, right? Okay, if the trader were to trade up, then definitely these are the areas to look at to lock in your profits, right? Okay, or even get out, right? Okay, so these are the areas of support and resistance, right? Okay, and if you look at the monthly time frame, right, it has corrected quite a long time as well, right? Okay, in fact, it has corrected since 2021 and 2021 all the way coming down, right? Okay, and it seems like for the past few months, it has been gradually going higher. Based on our daily time frame, we can see it as well, right? Uh, and due to the what I explained earlier, right, short-term wise based on the daily time frame, the higher highs and higher lows do show bullish setup, right? Okay, but main thing is in the longer term chart, right? Okay, based on the 4 monthly time frame, we can see this is a nice setup that is setting up to be a bit bullish, right? Okay, but after a sharp correction is starting to move higher, right, for the past few months to a year, right? The thing here is that we can see over here there is a sharp correction and there is a move up and then it failed, right? It failed. So there is still a possibility. There is still a possibility that this might not be the bottom, right? Okay, this might not be the support ultimately going to hold, right? It might even break lower and test this low, right? Okay, so there is still a possibility that it might go lower, right? Okay, to this all-time low support, roughly 2009, right? Okay, which is a very long time ago. But there is an equal chance for you to technically break above the 21 MA, right? Okay, because once you start moving, it typically tend to move above the 21 MA. So roughly all these prices is still possible once it break above the 21 MA, right? Okay, and because of that, basically I do use bullish price action, right? Okay, and in this case it actually established a bullish setup with confirmation of price action with a support over here, and this support is mentioned in my slide earlier, right? The major support $21 plus, right? Okay, and that price could be used as a stop loss, right? Just in case it break lower, I will stop loss, lose a very small amount. But looking at these based on risk to reward, it is still very worth it based on risk to reward to get a bigger profit and risk a smaller amount to get a big profit, right? Okay, so over here, basically we never know whether it will go higher, right? Okay, but since it's a setup that is worth taking based on risk to reward, risk management, it is worthwhile to aim for getting in here, right? Okay, and get out here, right? Okay, but of course with a stop loss just in case we are wrong, and we take a loss, right? If we are wrong, we take a loss, but yet it's a small loss, right? Okay, so over here, this is my take on Pfizer, right? Okay, and very importantly, based on Pfizer, the setup technically based on the 4 monthly chart, do look there is a bullish setup already ongoing, right? And the daily time frame do look like there's a lot of signs, right? Okay, it's in an uptrend based on the moving average. It has a higher high, higher low, and starting to establish a new high for the past 1 year, right? Okay, and it has not happened, all right, for a very long time. You can see over here, it has corrected for a very long time, right? So this is actually a bullish sign, right? Okay, for the past over years, it has never reached this price, and right now, just a few days ago, or even 1 or 2 weeks ago, it reached that level, right? Okay, so that's what I have to say about technically, right, on Pfizer. And very importantly, that before you trade, there's a few consideration you need to take. Like say again, you do not want to risk too much, whether you want to trade up or trade down, right? I'm just sharing with you my take on how I think Pfizer is, and based on technical setup, right? Is there a bullish setup for me to take, or bearish setup for me to take, right? And of course, we always want to protect ourselves to make sure, like even if, because not all bullish setup will turn bullish, right? Okay, a bullish setup doesn't mean that it will 100% go higher, right? A bearish setup also doesn't mean it 100% it will go lower. So to protect ourselves, we make sure we have our stop loss. We make sure like we have limited risk exposure to the stock. In this case, like what I mentioned earlier, 1% risk, right? Even if you're wrong, we lose that 1%, right? And hopefully, if it does goes in our favor, right? Okay, it will make us 2%, 3% on our capital also, right? Okay, and some consideration you want to take note is check important dates for FDA, right? Food and Drug Administration, right? This is the US drug regulator, because whenever they make decisions, right? Okay, they it does affect a lot of pharmaceutical company, right? Okay, or even announce any late stage drug trial results, which could affect Pfizer also, right? It could be their competitors announcing this late stage. Then it could put Pfizer in a unfavorable position also, right? Okay, and also manage your position size, which I mentioned a couple of times just now, right? I will mention it again. How much money you put into that one trade, right? Okay, don't put all your eggs in one trade, right? Like I say again, in terms of as a trader, I only use one, maximum 2% risk per trade, right? Okay, even if I lose that 1% of my capital, right? Okay, and so one trade, don't risk too much of your capital, right? Okay, watch outside factors like US drug pricing laws, including the Inflation Reduction Act, right? Okay, because this law does affect medicine prices, right? Okay, and it will affect everyone in the pharmaceutical or even drug companies as well, right? Okay, watch out for that, right? Okay, and do take note of all these when you do want to look at Pfizer into investing or even trading it, whether it's up or down, right? Okay, I'm just giving you my take, what I think technically and fundamentally what Pfizer is doing right now at this point, right? Okay, and I am not recommending you anything, right? Whether it's going up or down, right? It could very well go up and it could very well go down as well, right? Okay, yeah. So make sure you protect yourself, be safe. Wish you all the best. May the profits be with you, and trade and invest with passion. And I'll see you real soon in my next video. See you soon.
I hope you loved the video and learned something new from it. If you want to receive more videos like this, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notification. And if you want to learn more about the trade to win formula that I use in my trades, click on the link or button around this video to join my next free online workshop. In the workshop, you'll learn everything from finding the best opportunities to making consistent winning trades in the markets. I'll see you on the inside.